tuning into my 2814th edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar Carboni. Thank you so much for your comments and for all the messages and tuning in every night. We love you guys and we'll keep doing these videos, but you need to know about risk. You know, there's lots of people that put out videos, they're all over the internet, and a lot of them promise, hey, I can make you a bunch of money and there's no risk. Don't listen to any of that crap. That's not true. There's always risk. If you are trading, there is no system without risk. Put your stops in first before you get into a position, and no matter what the risk is, at least you get knocked out if something goes wrong. All right, so for trading on October 17th, 2024, traders, has Rocktober not lived up to its name? If you are a day trader, day trading has been like this. Oh, look, I got in here and I'm profitable. Let me run to the bathroom. Let me come back. Oh, my profits are gone. It's been like that every single day. It goes up, up, up. You think you could get long, it goes down, you lose your profits. You've got to hit and run in this environment. When you get a profit and it hits a profit objective, get out and cancel your stops. I promise you, Omni has flip-flopped. Okay, so in the last 10 days, I've had 2 Omni arrows in the same direction. We have had nothing but flip-flops for the last 10 days. Do you know what that means? How many Omniacs listening have heard this before? You know what it means, right? We're getting ready to vacate the area, and that is already starting to happen. So we've already had 10 days of flip-flopping, and boom, we're starting to vacate the area in U.S. indices, number 1 on the board. So the format in the last video worked really well. What I did was I looked at the most popular questions my Omniacs around the world had, and then I formulated my video around those questions. Well, tonight's video, the 4 most popular questions I've been asked in the last 24 hours, and we're going to go over them right now. Number 1 on the board, Oscar, E-mini, S&P, NASDAQ, Russell, you know, the indices. What are they going to do next? And I'll show you what it looks like they are about to do next. Gold, is it topping out? Yes or no? I've got great charts to show you what we think about that. Bitcoin, will it finally break out this time? Well, you know, we've been doing this Bitcoin, that massive flag that we've been looking at, right? And you've been voting whether it's going to break out finally when it gets to the highs, and it never does, and it heads back down. Well, we reached another moment where we hit the high of the big channel. Will it break out? Hundreds and hundreds of you replied, mostly bullish, yes, Oscar. This time it will break out. I've got charts to show you there. We'll see what that looks like. Then number 4 on the board, not that they're in any order, by the way, but number 4 on the board is Nvidia. Has anyone noticed the double top? Oscar, is this a double top? I've been asked by many people. So we're going to cover these 4 topics in our chart segment in tonight's video. So right off the bat, I can tell you indices look good, but the charts will show you more. Is gold topping? Let's look at the chart on that. Will Bitcoin break out? You know, it's a strange thing that repetitive patterns tend to repeat until they don't. And Bitcoin's in a repetitive pattern. And then there is a double top in Nvidia. Will it stop for the double top? I think it's already answered that question for us. You'll see that in the chart segment coming up in just a moment. Omni Campers in the UK, thank you so much. I have been oversubscribed. That is it. I can't take more at this camp, but guess what? And we love you guys in the UK and the Netherlands and everywhere else. Thank you so much. There's been so much activity that I've opted to do a second Omni Camp date in Europe, baby. I'm opening up another date. So do me a favor, send in your applications to omnibootcamp.com. I will take those applications in. I'll call each one of you and we'll pick a second date where I'll come back to Europe and do a second Omni Camp in Europe. So keep sending in those applications. If you've already heard from me, you're locked in. Don't you worry, that camp's going to happen. Anybody from this point forward, no seats are left, but I will give you another opportunity. Please send your applications to omnibootcamp.com. If you don't know what that is, you will spend 4 full days and nights with me immersed in learning the Omni method. I will send you home after day 4 with a brand new laptop. It'll have all the information that we've studied together. And once you get home, there's continued education in my secretive alumni training room where only the graduates of my Omni Camp get to go to, and I can continue to educate you further. That all happens at Omni Camp. It'll happen in the UK. If you're anywhere in Europe and you want to come to camp, this one's sold out. The next one, I'll come up with a date shortly. Send those applications to omnibootcamp.com. Now, we're going to look at some charts. I can't wait. It's my most favorite part of this at all times. I love doing the charts. In fact, every night that we do one of these videos, I get asked a question when I'm standing off over here on my right. And the question is, Oscar, the camera's ready. Are you ready to go? David, what's my answer?
Nope.
No, I say no every time. I'm not ready to get in front of that camera. Then the next segment comes up where we're going to do the charts. And every time he says, Oscar, the charts are ready. Are you ready to go? What's my answer, David?
Always.
Always, right? I'm always ready to do the charts. So that should be fun. I'll show you them right now. Remember, keep your emotions out of trading. How do you do that? Well, come to livewithoscar.com and hang out with me in my free trading room, and I'll keep your emotions at bay. If you don't want to do that, which you should, but if you don't, say this to yourselves over and over again when you're in a trade, especially if it's going against you. And by now, you should know what that is. Stops are in. Put those stops in, kids. Emotions are out. Rock and roll traders, thank you for tuning in. Now let's go look at some charts. Traders, this is the very chart I put in front of your eyes in last night's video. Dow Jones Transportation Average, and said, look, maybe this is what happened here. We ran into that like we did each time and almost here. But look what it did on Wednesday. It blew right through and settled up nice and high. Round of applause for our markets, right? Wonderful. And now we have a green Omni. Russell, I showed you this chart in last night's video and said, well, maybe the same thing here, right? We keep running into that trouble. Well, this is what happened on Wednesday, and we settled right there. Another round of applause. Go, indices, go. Now, we've got the E-mini S&P, and if you recall, I built that flag for us long before we ever came out of it. Look what's happened since we've come out of that flag. 60-40, we're on our way. Now, here's an interesting thing. I'm looking to my right on my whiteboard. It's not 60-40. I remembered that incorrectly. It's 60-55. All right, I was off by 15 points, but that's my year end. Not 60-40. I've been writing 60-40 for weeks. 60-55, if you look to the right on my whiteboard, that's what it says. So, came out of the bull flag looking good. Green Omni, buy the dips for trading on Thursday. And then the next question on the board, Oscar, what about gold? Now, if you've been following my videos, I've shown you gold goes in these patterns where it runs up, consolidates, runs up, consolidates, but when it consolidates, it drops to the average. What should happen next? Don't you think it should just repeat? Is the repetitive pattern repeating? It looks like it should fill in right here, right? Why not? I mean, until it stops, why not do that? It did hit the average and start to go, hit the average and started to go. I say it repeats. That's for now. We're day traders. The Omni has arrows. One day it could be red, the next day green. Overall, that looks like it wants to go higher, no doubt. Now we've got another. Next question on the board was, Oscar, Bitcoin. Oh, we finally got to get there. Now, you've been answering in every single video. Lots of you have been answering, and now most of you are bullish. And the question has been, will this be different this time around? Are we finally going to break out, yes or no? Now, the previous blue line was here, right up until today. So this is to illustrate where the previous blue line was. I moved it up just to get the highest high of all the highs so that we know if it does break out of these two, it actually broke out, right? So now I've encompassed the highest high. It hits that second high. That's now our top. We have settled very close. Will it break out or not? Well, I have to say, for one more day, the jury's still out. This is that same chart, but it's zoomed in. Here's the daily bar for Wednesday. The settlement is here. It is just below. Just below. So if Bitcoin can rally up on Wednesday night through Thursday and end up here, we are breaking out. So, the jury is still out. So I'm going to ask you that question one last time. Hopefully we never have to ask it again. What do you think will happen? Will it be different this time around? Will we actually get through this? Or will it turn around and nosedive as it has done every time it's gotten up here? Every time. No matter what we think, it fakes us out and drops anyway. Will it be different this time, or is it just another repetitive pattern repeating? That's what I want you to answer. My theory is Bitcoin stays with the stock market overall, not every day, not a correlation every day. The stock market looks bullish. Maybe this time the pattern breaks, kids. Tell me what you think. Answer below. Leave an answer below. Please let me know. This is our last chance, hopefully, unless it fails again, to tally this up. And it's been fun, so let me know what you think, Omniacs. And then the fourth question on the board, Nvidia. Oscar, what about the double top? Well, here's what I think about that double top. First, let's go back a little bit. When it did get tested, it held a fantastic average, and that created the bottom of this apex, if you will, or pennant. It broke out above the pennant very strongly. The double top would have been here where the blue line is. It went all the way to that spot right there, then came down and boof, all the way to here. Now one bar back up, which would be Wednesday. I say it heads back up. I think the double top reaction already took place with that bar I just covered right there that dropped us all the way down. I think that was your double top reaction. I think getting that close was enough. Remember, this company's got a huge amount of business. AI is exploding, and they are certainly at the forefront of that, supplying the picks and shovels, if you will. So that should continue higher right through that double top. I think the reaction already happened, which means Nvidia should get to 149 within 3 to 4 days, unless something different happens and the stock market starts to crack for some reason unknown right now. As long as the stock market continues up like we expect it to, 149 in 3 to 4 days, Nvidia. Traders, I hope I've answered your questions. I hope that helps. Please ask more questions. Leave them below this video. I'll be glad to answer them in the next video.